Greetings, dear colleagues, candidates, and the public. Today, on January 20 of 2025, the advisory group of experts has met in full composition to interview candidate for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Yaromenok Roman Alexandrovich. In particular, all members of the AGE are present at the interview. Mr. Yaroslav Romanuk, Mr. Aleš Zalar, Mr. Vasil Shakun, member of the AGE, Madam Hanna Sukhotska, Secretary of the AGE, Madam Maureen O'Connor, and I, Chair of the AGE, Oksana Vasilchenko. Also, we have deputy members of the AGE present at the interview: Mr. Volodymyr Kuzmenko, Mr. Vitaly Makhinchuk, Mr. Marek Zubik. I would like to point out that we work in a shelter, so in case of an air raid alarm, the interview will continue without interruption. Also, I would like to remind that the interview is being recorded and broadcast live at resources of the AGE and website of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I would like to draw attention of the AGE members and of the candidate that the use of sensitive data and information with limited access is restricted during the live broadcast. In case it is necessary to discuss it, the AGE will suspend the broadcast. We are ready to start, so I'm passing the floor to the Secretary of the AGE, Madam Maureen O'Connor, for introduction of the candidate and reminder of the interview rules. Madam Maureen, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I greet everyone. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, and all the Ukrainian public who is watching this proceedings. As the Chair has just said, the advisory group of experts will now interview the candidate Roman Yaromenok. I hereby recall that the interview is, of course, mandatory. The opportunity to interview is mandatory, and it is a milestone in assessing candidates within the assessment of their compliance with the criteria of high moral qualities. The time allocated for one interview is approximately 1 hour, and the time limit for answering a question is no more than 3 minutes. As always, we ask each candidate to be concise and to provide answers that are clear, unambiguous, and to the point. At the end of the interview, the candidate will be given the opportunity to make brief final remarks of no more than 5 minutes. I will also point out that in the course of processing the materials about the candidate, the AGE sent him questions to provide written explanations, so the candidate had the opportunity to prepare for this interview and provide answers. So now here is the candidate for the position of Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, for whom the Selection Commission under the President of Ukraine has admitted to the competitive selection. Since 2015, Mr. Yaromenok has been working at the National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine. He currently holds the position of Senior Detective in the 4th Division of Detectives of the 3rd Main Division of Detectives of the National Anti-Corruption Bureau in Ukraine. Based on the decision of the Kyiv Oblast Bar Council dated October 8, 2021, the candidate has also had the right to practice law, although this right was suspended upon his request on October 11, 2021. Additionally, I would like to remind you that the candidate participated in competitive selection process last year and also had an interview with the advisory group of experts. If you wish to add anything to this introduction, if there's anything that I've missed that you think should be mentioned, you can do it now for no more than 3 minutes.
No, thank you.
All right, I'm going to start by asking some questions. You've already participated in the competition and had an interview with the advisory board in March of last year, and as a result, the advisory board of experts recognized you as meeting the criterion of high moral qualities for the purposes of the competition for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. Do you confirm all responses that you previously provided during the competition?
Yes, I confirm all the provided responses.
Okay, next, would you like to provide additional information or supplement your written or verbal responses given during your participation in the previous competition?
I believe that I have provided exhaustive information during previous competition and during these 4 rounds of questions that you sent during the competition that is ongoing now.
Okay. What is your motivation to apply again for the competition for the position of Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine under the quota from the President of Ukraine?
In particular, the motivation has not changed. Just like during previous competition, as one of the candidates said, this is my 10th time. That is not my 10th time. That is just my 2nd time in the competition participation. I believe that my personal and professional qualities, my competence allow me to take part in the competition. And whether am I correct or not, then that is, after all, for the experts to decide.
In 2015, your wife received a loan from her mother in the amount of 283,500 hryvnias. What was the purpose of this loan provided by your wife's mother?
I will explain. In 2015, my wife used to live in Poltava together with her parents since she was appointed to the position in the prosecutor's office of Oktyabr district in Poltava. Back then, I worked in Semenivsky district prosecutor's office in Poltava. In the same year, I was transferred to Poltava. We had an urgent issue to buy accommodation since we lived in the apartment of my wife's parents. That's not even an apartment. These were 2 rooms with the shared kitchen in a dormitory. And since we did not have enough money to buy an apartment in Poltava, we decided to invest into construction in Poltava district, in a village nearby from Poltava, and to buy housing there. Since back then we did not have enough funds of ours, and my wife's mother had some savings that left from the sale of inherited property. So that's why my wife's mother borrowed a specific amount to her, which allowed us to invest into construction of the apartment. But in late 2015, in September, I moved to Kiev due to appointment to the position in the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, and my wife and child moved in December of the same year. And we never moved into that apartment, and we barely could sell it a bit later at the price that was lower than the purchase price. So that was not the best investment of ours, so to say.
Now, your wife borrowed the money from her mother. Was there a loan agreement signed for the 283,000 hryvnias?
No. As far as I know, no.
Did you believe that it was not required, or it was forgotten to be done? What's the explanation?
No.
The main explanation is that they have the closest degree of kinship, because that is the mother of my wife, and that is the question of trust. No one even talked about the conclusion of the agreement. And in line with the current legislation, the only consequences of the failure to adhere to the oral agreement, if I remember correctly, that is the inability to refer to it in court. So that is why, due to these reasons, the written agreement was not concluded.
All right. According to Article 1046 of the Civil Code of Ukraine, a loan agreement can be either in writing or oral. However, according to Part 1 of Article 1047 of the Civil Code of Ukraine, the written form of the agreement is mandatory if the loan amount exceeds 10 tax-free minimums of citizens. Do you
Так, все
agree?
правильно. Так,
Yes, everything is correct, but I've explained why the written agreement was not concluded.
Their degree of relationship?
ну, якби тут
That's the question of trust more. No one was going to challenge some aspects related to the loan in court. No one was going to refer to the absence or existence of this arrangement. It was just when it was necessary, my wife's mother helped us to buy the housing.
Okay, just out of curiosity, did she help any of her other children? Does she have other children?
ні, нема
No, she does not have any other children. My wife,
дитина в сім'ї.
Okay.
yes. Чи ви повернули цю позику, яку ви отримали від матері вашої дружини?
Wife's mother.
Так, поверну.
Yes, we did.
When was that?
Unfortunately, I cannot recollect for sure because we did not record the repayment of funds. I think within a short period of time since when I started working in the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, my income and my wife's income allowed us to quickly repay this loan.
Okay. If the loan repayment took place in the following couple of years, would you say 2 years, 3 years?
Unfortunately, 10 years have passed since then. I'm not ready to answer. Previously, this question never emerged, and I did not even have what to base my answer on in this case.
Інформація.
Did you indicate a financial liability of your wife in Section 13 of your 2015 declaration?
No, I did not.
Is there a reason for that?
I have provided written explanations regarding this. Frankly speaking, I do not remember why I did not do that. And again, my declarations have been repeatedly the subject matter of the check by the competent bodies, firstly, and secondly, submission of the declaration for 2015-2016 was the pilot stage. These were the first declarations that were submitted according to the law that came into effect on that was adopted on October 14 of 2014. That is why maybe some omissions were made during the submission of the declaration, but right now it is very difficult for me to recollect in detail.
Let me remind you, in Section 13 of your 2015 declaration contains the statement, quote, "The declarant or member of his family have no objects to declare in this section." And you answered, that's correct. There are no declarations to be made. So you didn't mention your wife had a financial obligation to her mother. Instead of confirming that obligation, as I said, it was not declared. Is it your position that it wasn't necessary to be declared, or that was a mistake and it should have been declared?
Пані
Madam Morin, 10 years later, I'm not ready to state whether this indebtedness existed as of the end of 2015, or maybe it did not exist. I cannot either confirm or refute it. That's a question of memory, and I do not remember that. I cannot confirm or refute it.
Recall when you bought the apartment in Poltava?
I think the agreement of investment was concluded in April of 2015.
April of 2015, but it wasn't in the condition for you to move in when you paid for it. Correct? It was yet to be built?
The building was almost complete in terms of construction, but I think in early autumn it was already commissioned, this building.
All right, but you did use part of your savings to pay for this. You added to your mother-in-law's contribution. Is that correct?
Так, правильно.
Yes.
All right. The amount that we have is 1,500 euro and 5,200 USD. Sound right to you?
Yes.
Okay. According to the clarifications on the application of certain provisions of the law of Ukraine on prevention of corruption regarding financial control measures approved by the decision of the National Agency for Corruption Prevention on August 11, 2016, it stated that the declarant should include cash assets, including cash of the declarant or members of their family that are available as of the last day of the reporting period, which is December 31st. So, did you still have your savings, the 1,500 euros and the 5,200 USD at the end of the reporting period?
На
Look, these funds were available as of 2014. And for 2014, the form of the declaration was different, the procedure of declaring was different, and as far as I remember, the monetary assets were not declared back then. But again, the procedure of declaration that we have right now with some amendments was introduced for some categories of civil servants starting from 2015. And in 2015, I already made this expense.
Thank you.
Roman Alexandrovich.
Roman, you work in the National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine, and you have worked there. You worked there in 2021, yes? Yes. And back then, you also decided to get the attorney's license. And in order to do that, during the period from March to September of 2021, you were undergoing internship. Yes. The attorney who was the head of your internship, who was that? That was the appointed attorney. Where was she located? In Kiev. Natalia, I do not remember her surname, unfortunately. In Kiev, yes. According to the your internship journal, you reflected in this journal that every day you spend from 2 to 5 hours to fulfill tasks envisioned by the internship plan. Is that correct? Yes. But you also worked in the NABU. How did you manage to work and to dedicate so many hours to internship? Mr. Yaroslav, first of all, the internship journal is not the document that is subject to some severe reporting rules. Secondly, the internship plan envisioned 500 hours, and specific tasks to be fulfilled were included during the internship. That is the study of the legislation, study of the case law, study of decisions of the European Court of Human Rights. So it did not require in-person presence in the attorney's office. No, it did not require that, and it did not require those 500 hours as well, taking into account my experience and competence. Especially with respect to preparation of documents or study of the legislation regarding criminal law and criminal process, and a study of a range of regulations, and I was already aware of them in connection with my work. So that is why My internship did not take that much time, those 500 hours, but the form of reporting, the form of the journal required to reflect 500 hours of internship. That's firstly. Secondly, again, most of those tasks included into the internship plan envisioned study of the current legislation, study of some documents, which did not require lots of attention. It can be done during free time, having electronic devices and printed out documents. And I did not have any problems with my internship completion.
Throughout 2021, you also went on multiple business trips. In March, in April, the way you describe your internship, it did not stop you from taking business trips. Is that so? Yes. Now let's go in some details. For example, March 2nd, 2021, you were on a business trip, and according to your diary, you were able to learn with the organization's activities, attorneys' portfolios, proceedings, scheduling for the supervisor attorney, your workplace, etc. So, your internship supervisor is in Kiev. You work in Kiev. You were on a business trip, not in Kiev. How did you manage to fulfill these tasks within your internship? Could you do it on a different day? Allow me to repeat. Possibly I was doing this on a different day. I was not filling in my diary day to day during the internship. I would fill it out sporadically once a week or once in several weeks. So maybe I put this record down on a different day. On the day of a business trip, I would be doing something else, probably. But the way a business trip is typically organized, we typically go in a field trip. We go to Lutsk by car, etc. I understand this. I have a very specific question. So here it says that you were able to familiarize yourself with organization activities and certain legal proceedings. I could have done this on a different day. Understood. Thank you. From the Kyiv Region Bar Council, we have received a report of your internship. According to this report, you were involved in providing consultations, clarifications, and legal support for individuals, familiarizing yourself with documents from enterprises, submitting requests, interviewing people, and participating in the reception of a public official, particularly in March, July, and August 2021. At the same time, according to your timesheet, these days were working days for you at your main job. How did you manage to carry out the practical tasks of your internship during your working hours? Yaroslav Mihailovich, during my working hours, I was at work. The majority of tasks was performed remotely. An attorney with digital means and devices would send me the tasks for the internship, and I would send the result back. I was not sitting at her office. Sometimes I would come to her office to get familiarized with certain documents. However, it was only during my free time and upon the agreement with my internship supervisor. Understood. Thank you. Okay. A specific date, July 21st, 2021. According to the document, you participated in the reception of a public official. Also remotely? Yaroslav Mihailovich, Again, allow me to repeat myself. During my working hours, I never participated in activities related to my internship. All meetings with internship supervisor, with anyone else, would happen during my free time. I cannot provide an explanation in regards with the specific reception of a public official. I do not have any memory of this whatsoever. I took the internship, I got the certificate, and I forgot about it. I feel that it is too much attention brought to my internship, and I do not quite understand how this demonstrates my integrity or lack thereof. Here we speak about honesty and diligence. These are the components of integrity which we assess to understand whether the candidate matches the high moral values to get the position of the judge. Next question. August 28th, 2021, you and your supervisor participated in a court hearing in a civil case. At the same time, according to the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine's order on the transfer of working days in 2021, this was a working day for your main place of employment. Again, how did you manage to both participate in a court hearing and perform your duties at the primary place of employment? Again, the documents of the internship are not a strict reporting document. I'm not ready to answer these questions. What happened on August 28th, 2021? No one will be able to answer this for you. Okay, one more question regarding your internship. July 18th, 2021, according to your journal, you gave a lecture to the public on the legal topic, the rights of individuals in a globalized society. How did you manage to organize this lecture remotely over Zoom? Did you go to Poltava? This was easy. This was a remote lecture. My wife's mother is the head of the housing association, and upon my request, she organized a Zoom meeting so I could finalize the task envisaged by my internship plan. In your opinion, is this a relevant topic for the housing association members? Did you collect a huge audience for this? No. There were approximately 10 to 15 people at this meeting, and they mostly had questions regarding housing association. So it was partially lecture and partially discussion. So you work at NACP. At the same time, you get the certificate for practicing law. At the same time, you apply for the competition for the position of the judge at the Constitutional Court. What are your priorities? Are you planning to work in NACP to become an attorney or become a judge at the Constitutional Court? Yaroslav Mikhailovich, no one guarantees that I will become a judge at the Constitutional Court, despite my participation in this competition. Once I turn 45, I will be eligible for the pension rate, and then I will be making my decision whether to continue my work as a public servant, taking into account my life circumstances, taking into account consultations with the relatives. I understood. Our next block of questions should be discussed without broadcast, we will ask
Dear colleagues, do we have any other questions to the candidate? If there are no questions, Mr. Roman, you have up to 5 minutes to address us with concluding remarks. Dear experts, dear members of the advisory group of experts, during my previous participation in the competition, Mr. Yaroslav encouraged to take further participation in competitions. And this encouragement was made to academicians, specialists in constitutional law. I'm not academician, but I think that my professional and life experience, my analytical skills, allow me to take part in the competition and to be a candidate for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court. I wish to the honorable experts to take a reasonable decision, especially given that in a week, 3 more judges of the Constitutional Court will lose their powers, and the plenum of the Constitutional Court will lose its quorum. So, therefore, filling in of vacant positions of judges is an urgent issue right now. I think that I can be a worthy competitor for other candidates for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court, and I wish you luck. Thank you. Thank you, Roman, for your answers. Now I am declaring interview with the candidate for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Yaromenok Roman, completed. Thank you. Goodbye.